Hello there guys, and welcome to another brand new video on the channel. This is a part 2 of 2 in the Forza Horizon 5 review. If you haven't yet seen part 1, definitely go and watch that first, because that will tee up the conversations in this video. In that part 1 I read you through my written review of Horizon 5, and in this part 2 I'm going to expand on some of the points in that and bring in some other discussion points and ultimately wrap up my opinion of Horizon 5. So let's get straight into it. So I think that a good place to start in this second section is around the cars, because after all it is a car game. I mentioned in that review that there are 534 cars at launch. They covered 130 manufacturers and 37 different car types and categories. There are now around 900 cars, including special editions, Forza editions, etc. So really a hell of a lot of cars. Horizon 6, I believe, is launching with around 550 cars. Correct me if I'm wrong, it might be 650, it might be something completely different. But 534 for Horizon 5 was way more than Horizon 4 launched with. I think Horizon 4 launched with about 450. Horizon 4 finished with around 800, so then that was cut down by about 300 to make the 534 at launch for Horizon 5. Then they start adding them back in. That was that recycling thing that I was on about, where they start adding them back into the playlist, into car packs, etc. They brand them as new. Are they new? No, of course they're not. We've either seen them in Horizon 4, we've seen them in other Horizon games, or we've seen them in Motorsport. It's something that just has happened in pretty much all of the Horizon games, unfortunately. Is it likely to happen again? Possibly. Because if we've got to 900 cars now in Horizon 5, of course a lot of them have been brand new. We don't know how many currently being carried over into Horizon 6, but given that Horizon 6 is starting with 500-600 cars again, they've lost around 300, so they're probably going to start weaving them back in. They may ditch some older models, because they have done a lot of remodeling for Horizon 6, if you're not aware. They've remodeled pretty much all of the lineup. So there's a lot of work gone in, so they may have decided to ditch some of the models that we've seen in quite a lot of Horizon games and focus on newer ones. We don't know, but we will see. But I do fear that that is going to happen again. But yeah, a really good point for Horizon 5, because it's happened probably more than any of the games in the series, just due to the scale of how many cars are actually in the game, and therefore how many have been recycled. However, the brand new cars in the game have been rather epic. We've had cars like the Hyundai i30N, which we saw in the release trailer for the game, but it didn't come until around halfway into the game, I think. We launched with just the Hyundai Veloster N. Really disappointing, to be honest, so I was really happy that they eventually did add that i30N that was clearly ready at launch, but they decided to save it again, probably so they could add it into the playlist. We've had cars like the new BMW models, the M3, the M4, the M2, the iX, but we won't spend too much on that because it's ugly. We've had cars like the Rimac Nevera, we've had cars like the Wuling Sunshine, we've had newer Audi models, we've had all sorts, loads of Mercedes, we've had more Lamborghinis. There's been a hell of a lot of cars added into Horizon 5 that we've never seen before. I've really enjoyed covering those in my festival playlist videos and how to unlock them, and even driving some around in some of the videos. You cannot deny that that is a real selling point of Horizon 5, that there's them monthly updates, the festival playlist, you're working towards the cars getting the points. I know it was something that was introduced in Horizon 4, but the way that they've executed it in Horizon 5 I think has been better, because we had the changed playlist with the different events, with the different sections in the playlist as well. So I really like how they've done it, and obviously with it being the subject of many of my videos on the channel, it's obviously something that I quite enjoy. Sticking kind of on the theme of cars, a lot of work was put into the redevelopment of the sound in Horizon 5. Again, something that was touched on in that review, but I spent a lot of time revisiting those videos that were put out pre-release of Horizon 5, where they showed the actual filming of some of the car audio. I remember they used the Dark Side Developments BMW 320D to record the sounds for that 3 Series model. A little question on that though, that I did kind of raise, we've never had a BMW 320D in the game, we've only got the M3, so I was wondering what they were actually modelling there. If they were recording the sound for a 320D, then I don't know what car that actually ended up on, but still, it was really cool to see them show a load of cars that they were filming the audio recording of, and there was a hell of a lot of work went into that. Like I said in the review, 320 brand new car recordings, so over half of the cars at launch had brand new audio recordings, but they've gone up a level in Horizon 6 by redoing the audio again and also remodelling the cars, so really cool to see that they're really putting that effort in to make it a next gen game. Obviously they're dropping the functionality on the Xbox One S, hence I've to upgrade to the Series X, and that's probably allowed them to really step it up a gear with the remodelling of the cars, because the consoles that it's going to be available on and the PCs that it's going to be available on will have that capability to display all of those high resolution and high tech features on the cars. Then we've got things like customization, so we had the car limit increase of 1,000 to 2,000, really beneficial because prior to that I was having to clear out duplicate cars pretty much every week to make room for the new cars from the festival playlist, and that got quite boring because I was wasting quite a lot of time getting rid of cars that I'd won in wheel spins. But you know, sometimes when you get a wheel spin and it gives you the option to claim the car, sell it or gift it, sometimes the wheel spins wouldn't let you do that, so you'd end up with it in your garage regardless. Then you'd have to go in and go to duplicates, find it and then delete it, and you found yourself having like 4 or 5 of this stock car, and it got rather boring. But the move from 1,000 to 2,000 was massive. I still haven't got anywhere near it. I think I'm around 1,750, and that was a couple of years ago that they did that now, so it's made it much less stressful managing the cars that you had. You could comfortably buy copies of cars and have tuning C class, B class, A class, etc., and not have to worry about having to restrict how many cars you own. So really good move. Hoping that we're going to have at least that 2,000 car limit in Horizon 6. I don't think it's something that's been discussed. People probably haven't really thought about it. I may have missed it because I haven't kind of visited every single detail of the info that's been released, but definitely something that really helped this game. And back on the customization, of course we still had the ugly Forza aero, but they did add a lot more rims in, body kits, aero pieces. They added in the ability to pick 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 4-speed gearboxes. They had the different suspensions, they had the different tyres, because in Horizon 4 it was simply sport tyres, race tyres, off-road, but in this game we had drift tyres and other things like that as well. We had the ability to make the actual tyre wall bigger on some of the off-road pickups, so that you can make not just the rim size but the actual tyre size bigger as well. We had those really cool things to go on the back of the pickups and 4x4s, like almost like the camping gear, expedition gear. That was really cool. Of course, things like window stickers were never added to Horizon 5, but they are in confirmed for Horizon 6, so that's really cool to see them there. And more rims and body kits have been added to Horizon 6, as well as a redo of the Forza aero. So Horizon 5 still not quite got there, but Horizon 6 they are again stepping up a gear on that respect. But Horizon 5 customization, really respectable. Obviously the ability to rev your engine in the tuning menu as well was really good, so you could actually hear them car sounds taking effect. When you change the engine, you'd be able to hear that sound, and changing the exhaust and the intake would fluctuate the sound as well. So definitely really cool. Love what they did with the customization in the game, and obviously left room to build on it again, which they've done in Horizon 6. Now I'm going to touch on a few more minor things. So I find it quite cool that you can select which intro you want from all of the Horizon titles. So when you boot the game up and it's that intro screen, you can pick which song and which gameplay you want. So for example, I've had the Horizon 2 one on mine for a while now, so that has like the Hurricane that was the cover car for Horizon 2, and then the Horizon 2 intro music. But you can pick anything from Horizon 1 up to Horizon 4, or you can leave it as the Horizon 5 one if you choose to. It's a bit of a weird feature why you'd be able to do that. Not really sure what made them do that. I don't know whether it's something that was asked for by the community, but it is still really cool nevertheless. Another thing is the ability to change the time of day in the photo mode. Now this is probably more significant and more impactful. It's really useful, and it's something that I've used when taking all of the photos from my livery showcase videos that you will have seen on the channel. We're up to episode 6 at the time of recording this, so 2 left to go. Really useful. You can change the weather, you can change the time of day, you can toggle whether you want drivers, whether you want the crowd, whether you want the car lights. You can change which angle the wheels are at. You can either leave them as they were when you parked up, which may be straight, it may be turned, or you can turn them left and right, providing that they are actually on the ground and not in the air. So really cool photo mode, and yeah, definitely really enjoy using that for my videos. Another more minor thing is that it's quite useful that you can buy auto show cars in the car collection menu, so you don't actually have to visit the auto show at festivals or player houses like you had to in previous titles. You can literally be in the middle of the map. You can click pause, you can go over to the cars tab into car collection, and then any car that's in there that is purchasable, i.e. not a festival playlist exclusive or not a car pack that you don't have or something like that, you can click Y and you can click purchase, and they'll just charge you the auto show price, and then you can then go to your garage and get in that car from wherever you are on the map. Really useful. It's probably a feature that's been overlooked because we just kind of got used to it, but it's actually really helpful. It means you don't have to keep fast travelling all the time to the festival, or if you haven't got fast travel unlocked, then of course you don't have to drive there, because that would be a hell of a lot of time wasted. I remember in Horizon 3 you couldn't even get in a car in free roam. You had to actually drive to the festival to get in it, let alone buy one. So this is a really good feature, and like I say, probably one that most people haven't paid attention to. Interesting choice to have Guanajuato over Mexico City as the main city in the game. We obviously had the other villages such as Playa Azul, Mulahey, the miniature kind of Bahia de Plano village, and then other kind of hamlets and blocks of houses all over the map. But I would be intrigued to know why they chose Guanajuato. I mean, don't get me wrong, really cool city. It's lovely to race in, it's really colourful. And there's obviously them landmarks like the university, the stadium, the park and everything like that, but I would be intrigued to know why they chose it over Mexico City. Maybe it's because they kind of had an idea that they were doing Japan for Horizon 6, and they wanted to make sure that the effect of Tokyo City being the biggest urban area in any Horizon game was really quite substantial, because if they'd done Mexico City they wouldn't have done it full scale, but it's a hell of a lot bigger than Guanajuato in real life. It's one of the biggest cities in the world in terms of actual space taken. So if they did that, then perhaps the leap from Mexico City to Tokyo City wouldn't have been as impressive as it's going to be from Guanajuato to Tokyo City. So perhaps that was factored into it. I'm not sure, I'm just speculating, but it would be interesting to know why that decision was made. Now I want to talk about progression, because it's something that people have complained about in the game. They've complained about the map being too flat, stuff like that, but progression is one of the main things that people have complained about. To be honest with you, I thought it was actually alright, from the perspective of what the game's genres are, which I believe is racing game and adventure game. When you think about the definitions of what those two are, from my perspective the game hits the nail on the head. However, of course there is room for improvement. The fact that you have to pick a starter car and then you're given all three anyway, it kind of defeats the purpose, because you know, it doesn't really matter which you pick. As soon as you get in it you can think, oh, I don't want to use that, I'll get in the other one instead. Things like that, and things like the amount of money you get from races and wheel spins being quite a lot, so within like a week you've got like millions of credits, and the leveling system as well. The Hall of Fame was a really good introduction to the game. I did a video on that near the start of the game on how you unlock that, which was quite popular. That was a really good feature. However, it didn't really mean that much. It unlocked things like the trial, I think, and other things like that, but in terms of once you'd unlocked it, there wasn't really much to it. It just basically tracks how many accolade points you've got and where you are on the leaderboard in the world on that, but doesn't really do anything to the game after it's been unlocked. But progression for me was alright, but yeah, I kind of get the point that perhaps it could have been better. It does appear to be vastly improved for Horizon 6, but I can see why people would complain about it in Horizon 5, because things were given to us a bit easier than they probably should have been. However, I did like the thing where you had to go around and unlock the different festivals. You had to complete different things like PR stunts and races to work towards the expedition for each of the festivals, and only once you completed the expedition would you then get that festival unlocked, and then that would add further events for that festival onto your map. So Horizon Wilds for dirt racing, Horizon Rush for PR stunts, Horizon Apex for road racing, and so on. That was a really nice feature. Of course, we only had one festival in Horizon 4, so it was kind of going back to the Horizon 3 kind of theme of having different festivals around the map, but they were based off actual disciplines of the game, like the different racing types and then the PR stunts, rather than Horizon 3 just kind of being different locations on the map like Byron Bay. So I did really like that feature, and you know, I really liked the Horizon Adventure menu that tracked all of that. That was good progression, but Horizon 6 probably takes it to a different level in terms of the progression levels and the career mode from that respect. Okay then, and another really big point that I actually had to leave out of that written piece in the end, even though I was fighting to keep it in, it just had to be ditched on the priority list for the points that I wanted to leave in, and that is about license plates, or number plates as we call them in the UK. Don't know whether you've noticed, but there's a hell of a lot of cars, far too many in Horizon 5, that have British number plates on them. So it basically means that the cars were either in Horizon 4, so we were able to drive them in Horizon 4, and then they've basically gone Control-C, Control-V into Horizon 5, and it's just copied everything over, including the number plate, and they've thought, sod it, can't be bothered looking at that, just leave it as it is. Or it might be for some cases where actually we've had new cars added to the game, and they've still had British number plates, even though they were never in Horizon 4. That suggests to me that they were actually modelled in Horizon 4. Perhaps they intended to give them to us in Horizon 4 via the festival playlist, but they didn't for whatever reason, and then they thought, right, we'll add them into Horizon 5 in the festival playlist, but we're not going to bother changing the license plates again. Control-C, Control-V, over you go, bish bash bosh, done. It just shows a bit of a lack of attention to detail, to be honest with you. A lot of the new cars in the game did have Mexican number plates, but it's really incredibly noticeable when the British rear number plate is yellow, the front number plate is white, but the rear number plate is yellow, and the Mexican license plate at the rear is white. It's really noticeable. Obviously there's the fact that it actually says GB on it as well, but the fact that it's yellow just makes it glaringly obvious that they haven't bothered to do anything with it. I don't know how hard it is to change that in terms of developing, but I imagine it's one of the easier things that they have to do, so why they've chosen not to do it for so many cars is beyond me. But really, it kind of lets down the side, in my opinion, you know, when they put so much effort into different features of the games, and they've spent so much time on things that are far more effort and time consuming, and they just leave something like that. It's really disappointing, and I really hope that it doesn't reappear in Horizon 6. I don't think it is. I think there's the really cool feature of Forza Edition cars in Horizon 6 having special flashy kind of reflective number plates, and as far as I've seen in the gameplay so far, all of the cars have had Japanese number plates. So I don't think it's going to continue, but I just wanted to get that mini rant in there because I didn't manage to include it in that written piece, and it's something that did really disappoint me, and it kind of made me turn off my number plates. For quite a few years now I've not had the number plate on in the game, and I've just had the car, you know, as it is without the number plate, and that contributed to that, to be honest with you, and it's really disappointing that that is the case. Okay, and then a final point before I wrap this video up is about the point that I made near the end of that review in the last section about taking the game to a new level with built-in racetracks. So I had that idea of Horizon Sport, which is it's just a portmanteau of Horizon and Motorsport to create the one word, and it basically means that Motorsport obviously has them built-in racetracks. That's all there is to Motorsport. You just fast travel to a racetrack like Silverstone or another circuit, and then you just race around it, and that's all there is to Motorsport. Whereas Horizon, obviously you can travel in free roam, you can drive anywhere you want, and the races use the roads of the map. There's no kind of racetracks, except for like the racetrack that they built in the stadium and stuff like that. But my idea was basically to have racetracks built into the Horizon map, so you can still drive to them. So that was that idea about driving to them in your Fiesta. So you drive across the map, straight line it as the crow flies, whatever you want to do, you enter it, and then all of a sudden there's this racetrack here. Silverstone is in front of you. Obviously it won't be Silverstone because it's Mexico, however you get what I mean, and then you'll then be able to enter that event, and then there's a real racetrack there for you to race around. Obviously it would be good to have the races that use the public roads as well, but the fact that you could then have an actual dedicated racetrack or several racetracks would be really cool. Of course it's never happened in Horizon 5, but in Horizon 6, even though it's not quite what I was thinking, it does appear that they have implemented that feature in a slightly different way, where they've got embedded loading free time attack circuits that kind of resemble inbuilt racetracks. They're not specifically called like Suzuka Circuit for example, however there does appear to be racetracks in the game, and all you do is you drive up to them and then drive through the first checkpoint, and the timer starts for the time attack. You go around as many times as you want, and then you can just drive off and carry on with your day. So that's really kind of a slightly different take on my idea, but kind of on the same page in the same book. And that is something that I talked about in one of my Horizon 6 series episodes, and I'm really happy that that's actually become a reality in its own way. Okay, so that has been a very full-on video probably. There's a lot of things that I've talked about in that, in part 1 reading you my review, and in part 2 expanding on some of those points and introducing some others as well. But just to summarise, I want to reiterate those statistics that I mentioned at the end of that review. 4.5 million players on release day, that was 5th of November 2021 for Premium Edition, 9th of November for the Standard Edition, and 10 million plays within the first week. I mean, that's mad really for for a video game, when you think about how many people are out in the world and how many people have access to video games, and then how many of those have chosen to play the game but also then play it on first day or within the first week. You're looking at not a massive percentage of the population, so the fact that they've all chosen to go to Horizon 5 is really, really cool. Broke quite a few records. And even in 2024, I know this is slightly out of date, it apparently had between 35 and 40 million players still playing. I imagine that's slowly depleted in the last couple of years. However, it just shows that, especially with the introduction of the game being accessible on PlayStation last year, that will have boosted it back up a bit as well. A massive game statistics wise. It's had its issues, but there's loads of things to talk about that are good as well, and I hope that I've found that balance in this video of pointing out what's really good about the game, but also a couple of other things that have irritated me and been a bit of a bee on my bonnet, as they say. So thank you very much for watching. That is my review of Horizon 5. That is me pretty much concluding Horizon 5. There are 1 or 2 videos still to come on Horizon 5, but that is kind of me saying this is my opinion, and let's move on to Horizon 6. Really looking forward to Horizon 6. Stay tuned for Horizon 6 content. I've got a live stream on release day, the 15th of May, if you want to join me, 7 PM BST. So really not long to go now, and I hope that you can join me for that. But if not, I will see you at some point in my Horizon 6 journey. Thank you for watching. Bye.